The new scheme, which we are now calling as Atmanirbhar Bharat Rozgar Yojana, is being launched so that we incentivize creation of new employment opportunities so that the recovery phase benefits from it. What does this mean? It means that every EPFO registered establishment, those registered establishment, if they take new employees who never were covered by EPFO earlier, if they take them on, or if they bring in employees who had lost their jobs between 1st March 2020 and 30th September 2020, even they will be counted as new employees, although they may have an EPFO number earlier. Both will benefit from this. I'll go back to saying, go to the next slide, but not now, next slide. If I do, when I move over to that, I'll explain as to what kind of benefit will be given. But EPFO registered organizations, if they bring in new employees, new employee being those who didn't have an EPFO number earlier, or new employee being those who lost the job between 1st March and 30th September of this year, will all be counted as new employee who join or who get recruited by EPFO registered organization. They will get some benefits. The benefits I'll explain in a minute, but this is the new scheme which we are launching now. The emergency credit line guarantee scheme, which was announced in the Atmanirbhar 1.0, gets extended till 31st March 2021. You probably also were informed that from October, it was extended till 30th November. Devashish is here, he can correct me. From October to, it was extended by 1 month to reach 30th November as the deadline for the EC LGS scheme. But now we are extending it up to 31st March 2021. The details of the scheme is very well known to you, but I'll repeat. It is fully guaranteed loan, it is collateral free loan, and it gives additional credit of 20% of your outstanding loans. And outstanding loans will be decided based on your balance as of 29th February 2020. And outstanding credit limit was about 50 crores. So all this taken on board, we also then extended it for annual turnover up to 250 crores. Earlier we covered only 50 crores, then we moved over to 250. Earlier we covered only MSMEs. Then during the tenure of it, we extended it to even business enterprises and also for individual professionals. Mudra loans, all of them got covered. We kept expanding the scope of the ECGLS. We are launching a credit guarantee support for all the stressed sectors. This was part of what was recognized by the Kamath Committee, which looked at the various sectors which are stressed as a result of the pandemic. So 26 stressed sectors were identified, and for those in that sector plus the health sector, with credit outstanding of about 50 crores and up to 500 crores as on 29th February 2020, this scheme will be extended. And what it does is, it doesn't have an upper ceiling or on annual turnover basis. Entities up to 30 days past due, which is estimate 0, as on 29/2/2020, will get an additional credit of 20% of outstanding as of that date. So this one, unlike the earlier, which got extended now, which will be current and which will run, even as it goes on, we are bringing this one as an additional scheme, wherein the tenor of the additional credit which is being given will be 5 years, which means 1 year of moratorium and 4 years of repayment and servicing. We move over to the third announcement, which is something partly heard even yesterday, the production-linked incentive scheme, which champions 10 sectors, and in those sectors, incentive will be offered. But very quickly for you to recall, there was a PLI announced earlier during the early stages of lockdown, and in that 51,355 crores have been earmarked for 3 sectors. This is now 10 sectors, but earlier it was 3 sectors, of which the mobile manufacturing and some specified electronic components received 40,995 crores. Then the key starting materials, which is for the pharmaceutical, and the APIs at the cost of 6,940 crores, and the manufacturing of medical devices at 3,420 crores was the first announcement of the earlier PLI, which covered 3 sectors. Now the new one, which you got to know yesterday after the cabinet approved it, covers 10 such sectors, 10 more such sectors, 3 already being given. Now they will also benefit from a productivity linked incentive scheme. Yesterday when I met you all, I had very clearly said that's part of the Atmanirbhar. It covers sunrise sectors, it covers labor intensive sectors, and it also covers those sectors through which India hopes to link with the global value chain, and therefore very outward looking, very supportive, encouraging of exports and bringing investment and manufacturing to India. We go to the 4th announcement, which pertains to PM AwasYojana Urban, where a lot of measures have been taken in the past several months for the revival of housing and real estate sector. And these measures have all contributed to a good recovery under the PM AwasYojana, particularly for the urban areas. And this extra budgetary resource being provided will help 12 lakh houses to be grounded. Those which have been getting constructed will get grounded, and 18 lakh houses will get completed as a result. So 8,000 crores will be provided even in this year. We move to the 5th announcement of today. This is more to bring in ease of doing business, at the same time give relief to the contractors whose money otherwise gets locked up, and therefore and also it will have a bearing on the cost of bank guarantees. So I think this is a very important step towards enabling people who come into the construction and infrastructure activity. This will support them. Performance security on contracts will now be reduced to 3% instead of 5 to 10%. Will be extended. This will be extended to all ongoing contracts which are free of disputes. This will also be extended to the public sector enterprises. States also will be encouraged to come into this scheme. Therefore, bid security declaration will be sufficient, and that will replace the existing EMD. So earnest money deposit will not be required for tenders, and it will be sufficient if they provide bid security declaration. So it's almost like a self-declaration. A declaration is going to replace the EMDs. Relaxation of this kind, which we are proposing now, will be given only up to 31st December 2021, which means one full year beginning now, 31/12/2021. Till then, this is being given. Necessary changes in the general financial rules will be made so that this burden on the contractors will be reduced. There's quite a lot of inventory, is what we are told, in the real estate sector. So at the moment, what is prevailing is the differential between circle rate and the agreement value. About 10%. Prices may be lower than that, but up to 10% you get relief. Now what we've decided is to increase the differential from 10% to 20% from the period, for the period from the date of this announcement to 30th June 2021. This relief of up to 20% shall be allowed for both, and the necessary amendments in the IT Acts will be done in the due course. Through this particular step, we expect a lot of clearance of inventory, and people will be able to pay less in terms of the differential on which the tax is collected, and the differential is now increased, the gap is now reduced, and therefore they will end up paying far lesser in case of the circle rate differential, which affects them. Go to the seventh announcement, which is infusion of equity to the extent of 6,000 crores to the NIIF debt platform. You are aware that NIIF in this country attracts a lot of sovereign fund for investment in infrastructure related activities. Now, it also has a debt platform through which it raises a lot of money, and by 2025 it has to provide an infra funding to the extent of 1,10,000 crores, which we have announced, National Infrastructure Pipeline. Now we are also giving them fund to be able to, we are giving equity, it will also have private participation. NIF itself is investing some amount so that there is a debt platform through which it can raise money for funding infrastructure. So we are now giving 6,000 crores of equity to the debt platform of NIIF, where private equity participation will also come in. NIIF itself has invested 2,000 crores. So by 2025, they will have to fund projects to the extent of 1,10,000 crores. We are creating this avenue for them to do it even through the debt market. We move to the eighth announcement today, and that is providing 65,000 crores for fertilizer in the form of subsidy for the farmers. 65,000 crores subsidy for fertilizers, which will benefit farmers. Now, what is important to notice here is from somewhere near 500 lakh metric tons, which was fertilizer consumption in this country between 2016-17, we expect in 2020-2021, it will increase to the extent of 673 lakh metric tons. So farmers are reaping the benefit of a favorable monsoon. The sown area, so the growing area of crops has extended, increased manifold. As a result, farmers are to be ensured adequate supply of fertilizers, and this increased supply of fertilizers we assess will benefit 140 million farmers, and therefore 65,000 crores is being given to ensure that the forthcoming Kharif will not suffer for want of fertilizer. Farmers should be ensured that they have done a splendid work during Kharif. Now forthcoming Rabi and after that the Kharif after that should be somewhere farmers should be ensured adequate supply of fertilizer is given. 65,000 crores for it. Move to the ninth announcement. We spoke about formal employment. Now we are also talking about informal. You may recall that during the Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana, during the lockdown that we announced, 116 districts were brought together where the migrant laborers had gone back. 25,000 was the minimum number of migrant laborers who had reached those districts, for whom money was spent, and 37,543 crores have been spent till date on that. That scheme ended as of October 31st, if you remember correct. That was only for a limited number of days. We have spent that kind of money in those 116 districts. Now, this Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana had brought together the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme and also the Garib Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Both of them were also brought together so that rural employment can be encouraged. You remember that in the budget, we had announced something like 61,000 crores for Manrega. We also gave a 40,000 crore in addition during the Atmanirbhar Bharat 1.0 announcement. So with that announcement of 40,000 crore, Manrega had crossed 1 lakh crore outlay. Now what we are saying is also to underline the fact that out of that 1 lakh crore, 61,000 during the BE, 40,000 during Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan 1.0, both put together over 1 lakh. Of that, 73,504 crores have already been spent, and 251 crore person days of employment were generated. 251 crore person days of employment was generated, and this is in the informal sector. Obviously, people getting covered there are informal workers. Now we announce, this 9th announcement is for another additional outlay of 10,000 crore. This will be part of the PM Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana. It can be used for Manrega, it can be used for Gram Sadak Yojana, to ensure that the rural informal sector doesn't suffer for opportunities. 10th one, we will boost exports. And this is done through the additional 3,000 crores which we want to give the Exim Bank for promoting exports which happen through the lines of credit. What are these lines of credit? These are normally used by countries to which India extends this facility under the IDEA scheme, which is normally monitored through the Ministry of External Affairs. Now, when exports are mandated through it, most of the recipient countries, when they build something or when they use this money for various activities that they do, they could be getting Indian products, whether they are projects for railways being done somewhere, power projects being built somewhere. India helps them by providing goods from India. So railway projects, power, transmission lines, roads, or anything to do with transport, auto components, even sugar projects, all of them are supported. There are about 811 export contracts which are undergoing through the IDA scheme, and 10.5 billion US dollars are provided through the line of credit. Now, in order to facilitate Exim Bank undertake these line of credit activities and for promoting projects export, which happens, many of the Indian companies go and complete these projects there. They undertake a railway project or a power project. Many Indian companies go to do that, for which products from India are exported for those. Exim Bank facilitates this. So Exim Bank gets 3,000 crores just for this activity under LOC. The next one, the 11th announcement for today, is keeping in line with the government's belief that public expenditure for infrastructure is important at this kind of a time when demand boost has to be given. 10,200 crores additionally is being provided so that capital and industrial expenditure can be undertaken. These will be primarily through the defense equipment. Domestic defense equipment manufacturers will benefit from it. Industrial incentives, industrial infrastructure, and green energy. For these purposes, 10,200 crores are being additionally provided. You may recall that during Atmanirbhar package, 25,000 crore was given over and above the budgetary capital allocation which was made. In the BE, I think broadly about 4 lakh crores were given. Now, with the Atmanirbhar package announcement, we gave 25,000. Now, an additional 10,200 crore of budgetary outlays being made, over and above the budget provisions, in order that the capital and industrial stimulus is given a proper priority. This will, of course, benefit those particular sectors because domestic defense equipment manufacturers are doing well. There's a need for them to be given that kind of a support so that those equipment and industrial infrastructure gets built. We move to the last, which is the 12th announcement for today. We provide not a very big sum, you may think, but 900 crores for research and development as regards the COVID vaccine development which is happening. And this is being provided for the COVID Suraksha mission, purely for R&D purposes. And please notice that this money goes to the Department of Biotechnology, not Health. It goes to the Department of Biotechnology for research purposes. Now, automatically, the question arises, is this what is being provided for COVID vaccine? No, this is for provision towards research activity related to the vaccine. The actual cost of the vaccine or the logistics for the vaccine to be distributed to the country is a totally different matter. We are not talking about that here. The actual cost of the vaccine or the logistics required for distributing the vaccine is totally different, and whatever is required for that, as and when it is required, will be provided. But this is totally a different purpose, and this is for research towards the vaccine development, which goes for the Department of Biotechnology.